Hare Krishna, children. Nitya Manjari, I request you to sing Hare Krishna Kirtan for a few minutes, like next 3-4 minutes. Is it okay?
Prabhuji, right now I'm in India, so I don't have the facilities to do Kirtan here.
Okay. Sneha, would you like to sing? Any volunteers? Kshitij, are you there? Anand?
Prabhuji, he went to the washroom.
Okay. Anand is there? Pratiksha? Harshita?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Can you sing?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please. Switch on your camera and for.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. Very happy to have your association. With your permission, Prabhuji, children can sing Hare Krishna Mahamantra Kirtan for a few minutes and then we'll start. Is it okay?
That's brilliant. Yeah, of course.
Okay. Yes, Pratiksha, please start.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashatriya Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Pratiksha and Harshita. We are very grateful, very wonderfully sing, and we can see His Grace Niskincana Prabhuj is also very happy to hear this wonderful kirtan. Welcome, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams. Please accept our humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for having me today. It's a great honor and a privilege to be here with you all today.
We are very grateful, Prabhuji, that you have spared your valuable time for all of us on this auspicious month of Kartik. And we'd like to welcome you, Prabhuji, on behalf of Vasanta Prabhuji, Atichandra Mataji, all the preachers of this School of Bhakti Partnership, and of course, all the children who are attending and their parents. So, Prabhuji, with your permission, before we start, I'll give you a brief introduction and then we can start, Prabhuji.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, His Grace Niskincana Prabhuji comes from South London, and he has been often engaging himself and thinking about the identity, who are we, about the Vedic knowledge, and importantly, its relevance for modern social environment. And these are the various thoughts Prabhuji, since his beginning, very instructive for all of us, was contemplating on. And also the basic questions which all we get answers in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhuji has been thinking about this since his childhood, which is, who are we, our true identity, from where we have come, where we are going, so and so forth. Prabhuji, after many years of seeking answers to these questions, had come to across the teaching of Srila Prabhupada, and he has been serving for last 10 years at Bhaktivedanta Manor, where the School of Bhakti is based. And he is seeing how, in a Krishna conscious way, people can truly benefit in all the facets, all this in the society, including emotional, social, psychological, etc. And Prabhuji has been giving his services in the School of Bhakti to propagate further the Krishna consciousness movement. Also, Prabhuji is a wonderful stage actor and loves performing various dramas. Recently, Prabhuji entered Grihastha Ashram, and past few months he has also accepted the role of position of head of School of Bhakti, which was previously held by His Grace Sutapa Prabhuji. So we would like to welcome Prabhuji, all of us, by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Would request all the children to kindly switch on their cameras so that we can have a wonderful discussions, interactive session with Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Prabhuji, over to you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Rancho Prabhu. I just want to say thank you all for having me. I hope that as the years progress, that School of Bhakti and Kanaya Desh in Kuwait will have do lots of wonderful things together for the future. And maybe, let's see, by Krishna's grace, we can one day see each other in person as well. as the world unfolds and gets back to normality and things. We definitely want you guys to come to England and visit us at Bhaktivedanta Manor. It's a very nice place we've got here, and I'm sure that in the future, it would be great to actually maybe even go to Kuwait and see all of you there in your congregation there as well. And it's also very inspiring seeing all these young boys and girls here, because you are the future. You are the future of Krishna consciousness. So it's really inspiring, especially in this month of Kartik, such a sacred month. I'm sure you all know that whatever we do in Kartik, whether it's hearing, serving, associating, whatever spiritual things we do, it gets multiplied thousands and thousands of times in value. So it's really incredible. And it's so nice that you're learning about the Gita. Such a precious book, So yeah, okay, without further ado, I'm going to get started. Rancho Prabhu, just a quick thing. So just to confirm, what time am I going to roughly?
Prabhuji, 1 hour, and if it's a little longer, it's fine, Prabhuji, for 10 minutes extra, and then we will give opportunity for children to ask any questions or doubt they have.
Brilliant, that's perfect. Is it okay if I share my PowerPoint and things like that?
Yes, Prabhuji, wonderful. We look forward.
Okay, good. And I guess I also welcome any questions that you may have through the session itself. So you can save your questions at the end, but if you want to ask questions through, I can pause at certain times in the talk and find out if you have any questions on what we're going to talk about today as well. And yeah, I hope you had a nice session last week with Arjun Prabhu. He's also part of our school. And of course, next week and week after, you've got some more devotees from the manor who will be taking you through this journey of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so what I'll do is let me just share the screen. We're looking today at Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, verses 37 to 40, right? Observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, chapter 1, and we're looking at verses 37 to 40. I guess it's okay at some points if I ask the devotees to read certain segments of it, because I've got some verses on the slide, so I'm trusting that's okay. Before I start, I'm just going to do some quick prayers. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhishcha Kripa Sindhubhye Bacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnanebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai ISKCON Kanayadesh Yatra Ki Jai. All you great young Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis Ki Jai. All right, let's do this. Okay, I'm just going to put this on full screen. Can everyone see? Just put hands up saying you can see. Yeah, all right, great. Brilliant. Okay, so chapter 1. We obviously, so I know you've been going through the Gita from the start, and you know that obviously Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya are in the palace where Sanjaya is relaying the events, what's happening on the battlefield to Dhritarashtra, okay? And then, this is just a quick, very, very brief recap. You know, firstly, is everyone here familiar with the Mahabharata? Yeah, everyone knows about the Mahabharata? Yeah? Yeah, oh, good, okay. So you got the Mahabharata. the battle is set between the Kauravas and the Pandavas, right? The battle for the throne of the world, the battle for the empire of the whole world, because at those times it was a global empire, right? And the capital was Hastinapur or Indraprastha actually, right? And then through that, the Kauravas had constantly tried to kill off the Pandavas so they can take the throne. And many events and pastimes happened over many years, right? With the exile to the forest and coming back and mini fights and all these kind of things. And gradually it came to the point where it boiled over into this final battle to settle the score. This is the battle that's going to decide the fate of the world. It's said in the Mahabharata, right? Now, this is going to be crazy, guys, but this is actually literally, this is what the figures that I found in the Mahabharata book, right? Some of the figures you have to understand, right? That you can't just understand them just like, you know, through your normal calculations. You have to just realize that, okay, things are on a much bigger scale then. 1,640,000,000 people are said to have died in this war, right? 1,640,000,000 entities. That's bigger than the population of modern day China, right? Which is like the biggest, most populated country in the world right now, okay? That's huge, right? 1 billion. So we're talking like 1 and then 9 zeros and then 640 million, right? So it was a huge apocalyptic war, right? Lots of like carnage, lots of destruction. It was a classic case of like, you know, fight between good and evil, right? And of course, on the Pandava side, you had one of their main warriors, the great warrior Arjun, the third brother of the Pandavas, the Panch Pandavas, right? The third brother, known to be the most powerful archer of the day, right? The celestial son of Indradev himself. And as his charioteer, he had none other than the supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. So they're all assembled on the battlefield. And then, of course, you know, that then Arjun, you know, after a few verses, Arjun says in verse 21, Senayur ubayor madhye, right? Take me to the middle of the battlefield, right? So this is a nice verse that Arjun says at this point. Can I ask someone to unmute themselves and read this verse for me, please? Anyone? Don't be shy. Yeah, okay, I can. Okay, wow, lots of hands have gone up. Okay, I'm going to just pick randomly for now. I will pick, okay, Revant Krishna. Is that Revant Krishna?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Jai, Hare Krishna.
Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms.
Very good, yes. So he asks Krishna to take him to the center of the battlefield. Now it's interesting here, right? In the Mahabharata, Krishna is quite strategic. When he takes him to the center of the battlefield, he specifically chooses who he needs to be in front of. Does anyone know here who he takes him to see actually on the other side? Like, so on the Kaurava side, there's so many warriors, right? And Krishna specifically takes Arjun in front of a specific group of warriors. Okay, so our hands have gone up. Anand Arjun, what do you think?
Yes, Prabhuji, Arjuna sees first his grandfather Bhishma, and then he sees Dronacharya, his guru, and then like that he sees so many relatives.
Very good. Okay, so he sees Bhishma Dev, he sees Dronacharya, he sees Kritavarma, Kripacharya. Now it's interesting, in the Mahabharata is mentioned that he specifically takes them in front of these people, but not in front of Duryodhana and Dushashan. Now this is a tricky question here. Why do you think Krishna takes Arjun in front of Bhishma, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, but not in front of Dushashan and Duryodhan? Okay, I'm going to ask, okay, Prabhuji, I'm very sorry if I get your name wrong here, but is it Kshittis Gurudu? Kshittis?
Prabhuji, it's me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, because he wants to deliver Bhagavad Gita to us, that is why he kept Arjuna's chariot in front of Bhishma Dev.
Okay, good. That's okay, but let's go a bit deeper than now. Good, Kshittis, thank you for that, Kshittis Guru. Kshittis Guru, are you Nepali by any chance? You're Nepali, no? Oh, it doesn't. Your name sounds a bit Nepali. Anyway, okay. So that's a good answer, Shitish Prabhu. But let's now go a bit deeper. So Shitish said that he takes him in front of Bhishma Dev, Drona, all these people, because Krishna wants the Bhagavad Gita to be spoken. But why take them in front of him? Why not do it? He can still deliver the Gita. Why could he not put him in front of Duryodhan, Dushashan, and Karna? Ashim. Ashim Prabhu? Ashim, you're on mute.
Prabhuji, because he wanted to bewilder Arjuna.
Very good. Yes, excellent. Well done to both Jitish Prabhu and Ashim Prabhu. He wanted to bewilder because, you see, Duryodhan and Dushashan have always been very mean to the Pandavas, right? In the whole Mahabharata, they've always in Shakuni, Duryodhan, Dushashan, Karna, they've always been trying to bully them, trying to, sort of curse them and trying to kill them and, all these nasty things. When you're already angry with someone, isn't it easy to fight them? Because you're already angry, isn't it? You want to fight them, right? But when it's people that you care about, see, the thing is, Bhishma Dev, Drona, they actually loved Arjun growing up. They looked after him, right? You know that, right? Bhishma Dev was like acting like Arjun's grandfather, and Bhishma Dev raised Arjun, loved him, cared for him. So Krishna took Arjun in front of Bhishma Dev and Drona because he knew that Arjun is not going to feel so angry in front of them. And therefore, because he won't be so angry, he won't be so enthusiastic to fight. And therefore, Arjun will get bewildered. They say in England, there's a term now called existential crisis. You have a crisis about life. What am I doing here? Where am I going? What is the point of all this? This is what Arjun feels in his heart. He was thinking, what am I doing here? And it's at this point that Arjun, in a few verses later, Arjun says this very famous verse. Can I ask someone to please read this verse for us? Okay, I'm going to go for Tanushri and Vaishnavi.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. O Krishna, killer of the Keshi demon. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness.
Very good. Thank you. Very well read. So you can see here, Arjun is thinking, I can't stand any longer. My mind is reeling. I'm forgetting myself. I can't see any good coming from this. How can I kill my own kinsmen, means my own people, my own relatives, my own family? How can I kill them? Nothing good is going to come from this. What's the point of having this victory? There will be no happiness, nothing. Now here's the interesting thing. Arjun will not feel like this if he was taken in front of Duryodhan and Dushashan, right? Because they were horrible to him. He's ready to fight them. But with these people, his heart gets soft. I love these people. How can I fight them? How can I kill them? It makes no sense. What good can come from this? So this is where Arjun, now let me make it very clear. Arjun is not a coward. In fact, Arjun as a human being was much more powerful as a warrior, was much more powerful than any of our modern day, warriors or generals or leaders or kings, right? Way more powerful, right? These are, he's from previous yuga. So they're much more powerful than modern day humans. So it wasn't because he was scared. It was because he was feeling soft-hearted, that how can I fight? Soft-hearted people don't want to fight so much. They want to try and love and, have peace and things like that. So but Krishna deliberately did that. He wanted Arjun to feel like that, because then that gives an opportunity, as Shiti said, to speak the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so you go through the verses of chapter 1, and you can see that Arjun lands himself in a state of doubt, right? He lands in a state of doubt. And in the last sort of 15 verses, is that doubt turns into a turning point. Arjun decides in these last few verses, after seeing his loved ones on the Kaurava side and the fact he has to fight them, and then feeling nervous and feeling worried and feeling fearful and feeling upset, he decides that, you know what, I can't fight. I'm sorry. Imagine this, after years and years and years, years of pastimes between Kauravas and Pandavas and tension between them. Finally, there's a time now to reclaim the kingdom. And Arjun at that point is saying that, you know what, I can't fight. It's too much for me. And at this point, this is the turning point. And at that point, Arjun, it says that his lips started quivering. His Gandiva bow falls from his hand. His whole limbs were shaking. And he actually slumps back onto the chariot. And at that point, he actually gives point by point reason as to why he shouldn't fight. Okay, now I think some of the points I think he went through with Arun Prabhu last week. So let's now carry on from there. Okay, so now we're going to go on to today's verses. Okay, so what I'll do is there's 3 verses. There's verse 37 to 38, then there's verse 39, and then there's verse 40. So what I'll do, okay, let's divide this up. We got Sanskrit here, and we've got the English for each verse. Let's start with 37 to 38. I need 2 people, one to recite the Sanskrit and one to recite the English. So let's now pick, okay, Pradiksha and Harshita, you 2 can recite the Sanskrit. I hope that's okay to recite Sanskrit, yeah? And then we can have, okay, we can have, let's see, Rajendra Prabhu, you can recite the English. Okay, so Pradiksha and Harshita recite Sanskrit for this verse, and Rajendra, you recite the English. Pradiksha, over to you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have to read the 37th verse, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you do 37 and then Harshita can do the next one, 38.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yadyapi etena pashyanti lobopahata chetasa kulakshaya kritam dosham mitradohe cha patakam.
Thank you. Very nicely read. You got the Sanskrit pronunciations right as well. Wonderful. Harshita?
Prabhuji, she does not want to read the Sanskrit verse.
Okay, no problem. Would you like to read the next one, Pradiksha?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Go for it.
Katam nagneyam asmabeh papadasman vartitum kulakshaya kritam dosham prapashyat janardana.
Excellent. Thank you. Wonderfully read. Really good. Rajendra Prabhu, English.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Very well.
O Janardana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin?
Very good. Excellent. Also very nicely read. There's some emotion there when you're reading. Excellent. So this is verse 37 to 38. Let's now go on to next verse. This is verse 39. Same thing. Can I have one person for Sanskrit and one person for English? So, okay, we're going to go with, okay, Dhanushri, you can read the Sanskrit, and Anand, or is that Anand's sister? Is that your little sister there? Maybe she can read the English? Yeah? Okay, go for it. Dhanushri, over to you.
Yes, Prabhuji. Verse 39. Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatana dharme nashte kulam ketsnam adharmo bhivavati yuta.
Excellent. Again, very good. Anand's sister, over to you.
With the destruction of the dynasty, the material, eternal life, family tradition in vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in ill religion.
Irreligion. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Very nicely read there. I have to say, you all are very good in your Sanskrit pronunciations. Thank you for that reading as well. So yes, so if we go back in the previous verse, okay, is basically Arjun is saying that all these people, even though they want to fight, and even though they don't see any fault in killing one's family or quarreling, but we can. So this is what Arjun is trying to say is that the Kaurava side, this is the reason he's giving to Krishna. The Kaurava side wants to fight me, and they see no problem in causing hurt to their own family members. But we, who are more moral, more pious, why should we get down to that level? What good can come out of fighting them, Krishna? I don't understand. Why should we fight them just because they want to fight us, right? And in this one, what is Arjun saying? He's saying that if we fight this war and all these millions and millions of people die, our whole entire family is finished, then what happens? Our family traditions, it finishes. Our culture finishes. The elderly people who pass on the knowledge to us, if they die, what happens? Everything finishes. Society will go into chaos. Yeah? Good reasons, actually. If you think about it, they're very good reasons why we should not fight this war. Anyway, let's carry on. Final verse, verse 40. Okay, two people, please. One for Sanskrit, one for English. Let's pick someone who hasn't gone yet. Okay, so I'm gonna, let's say for Sanskrit. Okay, let's pick for Sanskrit, we'll pick Jayashri. And for the English, we'll go for Dimple. Is that okay? Sanskrit, Jayashri, and then English, Dimple, yeah?
Adharma bhibavat Krishna pradyushyanti kulastriyah striyah strishu dustashu varsneya jayate varna shankaraha.
When
Excellent.
irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna.
Oh, sorry, is that Dimple?
No, Prabhuji.
Oh, is it, sorry, is it okay if Dimple reads the English? Only because she put a hand up.
Okay, Prabhuji, I thought I have to read.
No, no problem. We'll pick you later again. Dimple, do you want to read? No? Okay, yeah.
Yes,
go for it.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Very well read, both of you. I think that was Ashim there, and for the English, that was Dimple. Well done. So yeah, you can see here that Arjun's giving further reasons. He's saying that, look, if everyone dies, if the elders die, and the culture, our traditions don't get passed on, then what happens? The women, they don't get protected. And if they don't get protected, then they get mistreated. And if they get mistreated, then if a woman is not happy in her mind, then when she gives birth to the next generation of children, then they will also be, not very good in their consciousness. They'll be of lower consciousness. So Arjun is giving such good reasons, right? So let's summarize so far. And this is also from previous sessions. From verse 27 to 28, Arjun says, Krishna, we should not fight this war because where's the compassion in killing all these people unnecessarily? Where's compassion? Everyone knows what compassion means, yeah? Compassion means kindness, soft-heartedness, looking after people, yeah? Where's the compassion in horribly killing all these people? Next thing, Arjun says, is if Krishna, if we fight this war, this is from verse 30 to 35, if we fight this war, what happiness are we going to get? Our own loved ones are going to die, and our own people are going to die. Who are we going to enjoy this kingdom with? What's the point of having a massive land, a massive palace, if there's no people to enjoy it with? Then Krishna says, and this is in these verses, if we fight this war and we kill all these people, then the rest of our family, generations, the future generations, the future society, the future children, they're going to also get ruined. Who's going to look after them? Who's going to guide them as what is right behavior? If you don't teach your children right behavior, then eventually that family will become wild, and then society will become crazy and collapse. And then also in these verses, Arjun's also mentioning the sinful reactions. If we fight this war, we kill all these people, including our elders, what kind of bad karma are we going to get? Yeah, all of you know about karma, right? There's good karma, materially good karma, there's materially bad karma. Good actions lead to good karma, bad actions lead to bad karma. Why are we going to involve ourselves in all this? Okay, is everyone with me so far? Yeah, everyone's clear? Is there any questions here so far? All right. So yeah, good arguments. I'd say they're very good arguments from Arjun. Okay, now here's an interesting thing actually. Before we carry on any further, let's go back to 137 and 138, right? So Prabhupada, he mentions, now I don't know, do you all have the Gita with you, or yeah, some of you may do. Okay, anyway, that doesn't matter. Prabhupada says here in the purport, a Kshatriya is not supposed to refuse to battle, right? When he's invited by a rival party, okay? So therefore, Arjun's duty was to fight. Prabhupada says that he could not refuse to fight. Now, here's the thing. Remember this, in Krishna consciousness, we're not saying that people should fight here and there. But what you have to understand that in Krishna consciousness, in the Vedic system, there was a system where people were divided into different groups. And based on whatever group they're in, they would have certain duties. Now, does anyone here know what is a Sanskrit word for duty? I'll give you a clue. It begins with D. Yeah, Nitya, do you want to share? I just saw Nitya's hand go up. Yeah, unmute yourself. Nitya, you have to unmute yourself.
Dharma.
Very good, very good. Well done. Yes, Dharma. Every single human being in this world has got his or her own Dharma. Next question. Is everyone's Dharma the same? Yes or no? Is everyone's Dharma the same? Let's go with Jayshree.
No, Prabhuji.
No, it's not, is it? People's Dharma is different based on what kind of group they're in. Okay, people's Dharma. So what Prabhupada is saying here is that Arjun, what kind of group is Arjun in? There are four main groups. Okay, let's go with Kshitiz. Kshitiz? Kshitiz Prabhu? Yeah, you want to?
Prabhuji, I kind of didn't understand the question.
Okay. So the question is this. Everyone has got different dharma, different duties in life. Not everyone has got the same dharma. So in the Vedic system, right, during Mahabharata times, in those days, people were divided into four main groups. Do you know what these groups are?
Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra.
Excellent. So you all know about Varnashram, yeah? So that's good. Varnashram means that people are divided into groups, and then each group has its own duties, its own dharmas to do, okay? So you can see here, this system is called Varna Ashrama. Varna means your occupation, and ashram means your stage of life, okay? So there are four ashrams. I think you may know this, right? Oh, sorry about the picture. It's a bit fudgy. But anyway, you have Brahmacharya. Anyone knows what Brahmacharya is? Yeah, okay. Ashim, what's Brahmacharya?
Prabhuji, who is a celibate?
Yeah, celibate student, right? Brahmachari is someone who lives in a celibate life and lives under the guidance of the guru to learn things. Yeah. And the next one, let's ask Tanushri, what's a grihastha? Yeah, Tanushri, you have to unmute yourself.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, grihastha is the married family life.
Married family life. Do you know what the next one is? Vanaprastha?
Yes, Prabhuji, when you retire and visit holy places.
Very good. Yes,
Retire
retire,
from the
visit holy
corporate life.
places. And then Dimple, I can see your hands up. What is a sannyas?
Prabhuji, sannyas is the highest of the varnashrams, where we take we leave a family and preach. Yes, sir.
Very good.
And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also took sannyas.
Yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also took sannyas as well. Yeah, very good, excellent. So these are the 4 ashramas. Yeah, I'm sure that as we practice Krishna consciousness, and you know, a lot of us will find ourselves in these ashramas, right? I'm not saying all of us will be in all 4 ashrams, but in our lives as we practice Krishna consciousness, we will find ourselves in different ashrams in the future. You know, maybe the next sort of, I don't know, 20 years time when you all are grown up, maybe a lot of you will find yourselves in the Grihastha ashram and get nicely married, leading Krishna conscious families. Maybe some of you might decide to then spend some time as brahmacharis, brahmachari ashram, who knows, right? Maybe in next 40, 50 years time, right, when you're all a bit older, some of you, hopefully a lot of you, will then decide to take vanaprastha, you know? And then who knows, maybe even 1 or 2 of you, when you get older and older, 1 or 2 of you will decide to completely give yourselves to share Krishna with others and become sannyasis, which will be amazing. We need sannyasis, vanaprasthas, grihasthas, and brahmacharis in our movement. Yeah, all these different ashrams are all very valuable. Okay. In Kali Yuga, yeah, it's collapsed a bit, but then, you know, with Krishna's mercy and Prabhupada's instructions, he said that actually the ashram should be developed. So Arjun was a grihastha. Okay, he was a working man, family man. He was managing kingdom. He was ruling over kingdom. He was a grihastha. Okay, and in terms of his varna, I think you all know what his varna was. Yeah, if I just here we go. So in the varnas, as you all discussed, as Kshitij Prabhu said, there are 4 types of varnas. You can see from the picture here what they are. Okay, so I'm gonna go. You can see from the top left-hand corner. If we go around, we have firstly Brahmanas. Yeah, the Brahmanas. You can see there that you know, they discuss Krishna Katha. They share Krishna consciousness with each other and others. They're like teachers, you know, they teach, they preach, they give wisdom to society, they help people. It's a very valuable ashram, actually, you know, Brahmanas. Oh, sorry. Oh, there we go, yeah. And then, of course, next to that, you've got these people here, the Kshatriyas, right? The warriors. You can see this fierce-looking man with his sword, he's fighting in this battle. Kshatriyas are not, now let me make it very clear. Kshatriyas are not just there to be violent. They are not just there to fight for the sake of fighting like modern day, you know, ruffians and hooligans. Kshatriyas, what is the main purpose of a Kshatriya? Hands up. What's the main purpose, the main goal of a Kshatriya? Let's ask Ankita.
To protect the Brahmanas?
Yes, actually, Kshatriyas are meant to protect everyone, but especially Brahmanas and especially the cows. But let's be honest, they are there to protect everyone. Brahmanas, Vaishyas, Sudras, everyone. Their main focus of a Kshatriya is to protect. And therefore, to protect means in the material world, you know that this material world is not perfect. If we're not in Golok Vrindavan yet, we're not back with Krishna yet, with the gopis and gopas in the Vrindavan and everything, where things are perfect. We're in the material world. Material world means padam padam yat vipadam. There is obstacles here. There is challenges here. So therefore, sometimes you need certain people to fight. to defend, to protect. Let's be very clear. Krishna consciousness is not about violence. It's not about fighting. It's about maintaining peace so that we can nicely connect back with Krishna and experience real love, real happiness. I'm sure all of you are young, you like to play and have a good time. That's what we want in Krishna consciousness. But because we're in the material world, we need protection, because this world, this material world, and I know you're all young, but hey, you guys should know this, right? You're young, but you should know that this material world has its obstacles, dangers, so therefore you need Kshatriyas to protect. They fight and protect so that we don't have to, so that we can do our Krishna consciousness nicely and live our lives nicely, okay? So then you got the next one, bottom left-hand corner, you got the Vaishyas who protect the cows, and they also provide money for society and riches and wealth so that, you know, society can function nicely. And of course, finally, you've got the Sudras, and the Sudras are very valuable because the Sudras, they provide the energy and the work power to make sure that society is carrying on. I know, now this is a very sad thing. In India, because I know that most of you are probably from Indian background, there's this mood that Sudra means low, Sudra means nothing, Sudra means low status. Believe me, everyone, please understand one thing. In the Varnashram system, whether you're a Sudra or a Brahmana, if you're focused on Krishna, none of that matters actually. The main thing is you connect with Krishna. Being a Sudra or being a Kshatriya Brahmana, don't see it in terms of status, that I am higher than you or I'm lower than you. Don't get into that trap. Understand that each position is very valuable, right? Each position, like in a car, you need a steering wheel, but you also need a wheel. I need an engine. Will a car work if you don't have a steering wheel? No. Will a car work if you don't have wheels? No. Will it work if you don't have an engine? Obviously not. Same thing. In a Varnashram system, every single group is valuable and precious. If you start to look at other groups and think that I'm better or lower than this group, Krishna will notice that. Krishna created this system and he will see if you're using it as a form of power. Krishna doesn't like that, okay? I hope that makes sense, okay? So yeah, just to summarize, we have Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras. So why am I saying all this? Because Prabhupada said in this verse that Arjun as a Kshatriya was meant to fight. However, Prabhupada goes further though. Prabhupada says, but Arjun looked at the other side and decided whether it's worth fighting. So remember this, a Kshatriya doesn't just accept any fight. A Kshatriya first looks at, is this worth fighting for? It's not that, okay, let's say I can see the devotee called Vivan, right? Hey, Vivan, come, let's go fight. Vivan's not going to just say, okay, come on, let's go fight. Vivan, if he's an intelligent Kshatriya, Vivan will think to himself, hang on, Niskincana, why are we fighting? What's the goal in fighting? What's the purpose in fighting? Is there any benefit to fighting? And then Vivan will decide whether he should fight or not. That's intelligence. So actually, Prabhupada said that Arjun to question whether we should fight or not is actually good. So therefore, when Arjun says to Krishna that it doesn't make sense to fight this war, what's the benefit from it? It's a very good point. It's a very good point that he said there. Okay. So these are some other further, just to kind of clarify. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam 9th canto. You can see up there, 9:15:40. This is from the purport. These are some of the qualities that actually is given by Prabhupada on the four Varnas. Yeah. Brahmana means detachment, means teaching, giving philosophy, and very important, being forgiving, right? Shama, to forgive. Kshatriya means discipline, protection, heroic in fighting. They never give up. A Kshatriya is the sort of person, even if they're going to fight and they're going to keep fighting to make sure that their goal is achieved, right? Then you got Vaishya. Vaishyas are about protection of cows, business, and results. And finally, Sudras, they work hard and they have fun, and they should have fun. and they please their leaders, right? These are the different duties. Every single one is needed in the Varnashram system. Arjun was a Kshatriya, but as a Kshatriya, he could fight very, very well, actually, but he was questioning, he has the right to question whether I should fight this war. That's intelligence, isn't it, guys? That's very intelligent. And like I mentioned, this is not caste system, right? Some of you come from Indian backgrounds. I don't know if your parents are devotees. I'm sure some of your parents are probably devotees. Some of them may or may not be, I don't know. But you have maybe family relatives and things and people in India or even in Kuwait, I don't know, who will say, in Krishna consciousness, you are trying to bring back caste system. No, we're not, right? We're not trying to bring back caste system. Varnashram is not the same as caste system. Caste system is basically saying, oh, I'm a Brahmana, therefore my son's a Brahmana, and his son is a Brahmana, and his son is a Brahmana. And if you're a Sudra, that means I'm higher than you. That means I can oppress you. And your son and his son and his son and his son, they're all going to be Sudras. That's not the case. In the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Chaturvarnyam maya shishtam guna karma vibhagasa. Your varna, the group that you belong to, is not based on your janma. What does janma mean? Hands up who can tell me what janma means. Okay, Anand, what does janma mean?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's birth. Janma means birth.
Birth. So Krishna does not say Chatuvarnam Mayashishtam Janma Karma Vibhagasa. He says Guna Karma Vibhagasa. Your group that you belong to, your Varna, is based on your Guna and your Karma. Let me pick someone, actually. I think you're all pretty switched on. Okay, Ashim, unmute yourself. Let me ask you, what does Guna and Karma mean?
Guna Prabhuji means quality and karma means work.
Very good. Very good. Your group that you belong to is based on what you naturally like to do. If Vivan likes to protect and be as a man of action and lead, then he's a Kshatriya. If Pradiksha likes to make, is into profit and making money and looking at different ways of increasing results, then that means she's a Vaishya, right? If Tanushri likes to sing and dance and is good with the crafts and skills, then it could be she's a Sudra. And if Ankita likes to teach and learn and give knowledge to others, then she could be a Brahmana. It's not based on who your parents are, it's based on your own qualities, okay? So Varnashram means spiritual growth, and the qualification is character, not your birth. I repeat that. It's your character, not your birth. Okay? So very good. Let's carry on. So Kshatriya Dharma means to fight or not to fight. At the moment, Arjun is saying that I know I'm a Kshatriya, but I don't think this war should be fought because nothing good can come out of it. Then they carry on. And then as we mentioned before, next verse 39, Arjun says that if we fight this war, then all the elders are going to die. And if they die, then what will happen to our family traditions? Yeah? You know, we often say, right? Your parents probably tell you, respect your elders, respect your seniors, and all this kind of stuff, right? Well, actually, in the olden days, there was reasons for that. Prabhupada said that the elders, they would be the one who pass on the family traditions that help us come closer to Krishna in the olden days. I know in modern day families, there's, family traditions are breaking down. I know you're young, but you might as well know this now. As you get older, you'll see this more and more. In Kali Yuga, family traditions will start breaking down. Society, respect for seniors will start going less and less. But you know what? You are all in Krishna consciousness, so you got opportunity to make sure that doesn't happen to you. And when you get older, when you have children, you're going to make sure it doesn't happen to them either, right? You're going to make sure that these family traditions and the respect for elders, it carries on, okay? And that's how society is kept together. That's how culture. Firstly, does anyone here know what culture means? Everyone knows the hands up who can tell me what does culture mean? Or try. It's only a bit of a big word, but any ideas? What does culture mean? Oh, there is part. Sorry, I'm missing. Hang on. Let's go down. People have raised their hand. I can't see who it is though. Oh, now I can see. Okay, now I can see. Let's go with Dimple.
Prabhuji, like the steps which are followed in that family.
Okay, steps which are followed in family. Good answer. Let's now add on a bit more there. Kshitij Prabhu, are you there? Do you want to add anything onto that? Yeah, okay, fine. Anand, did you want to add anything onto that? Whatever Dimple said.
Prabhuji, what I can say, culture is like something that it was something ancient or like something which were followed by many people, like in our family. It's just like tradition. Tradition and a culture is two same. I mean, like they all come equal. Like tradition, when you say tradition, even culture includes in that. So culture is something like way of life, where like in India, when you think about India, Indian culture is, which is Krishna consciousness was Indian culture actually, but nowadays there's modern culture. So Krishna consciousness is way of life. So that's called culture.
Very good. No, that's a very good answer, Anand, actually. So yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Culture is basically a way of life to keep the tradition going from generation to generation. And the elders of the families would pass it on. We're living in interesting times now, because like, I mean, now because culture is breaking down, it's Kali Yuga, right? Culture breaks down, like you said. You mentioned an interesting point because you talked about the modern state of India, right? And how in India, the ancient Vedic system, it has been damaged to a large degree because of Kali Yuga and for various reasons, okay? And that's why culture breaks down. And when culture breaks down, what happens is people just basically follow whatever like the normal kind of common thing is in the world. So now it's kind of like just normal westernization. We watch, I don't know, whatever's on social media, whatever's on Facebook, whatever's on the internet. Yeah, that's our culture now, Haribol. But actually, no, that can go that kind of culture, that modern common culture, it will go everywhere. There's no fixed foundation to it. So it's very important actually that the culture is maintained generation to generation, because ultimately what's our goal in life? It's to connect back with Krishna. And the cultures are there to help us connect back with Krishna. If that culture goes, it becomes very difficult to try and practice Krishna consciousness. Trust me, I live in England, we know, right? It becomes very difficult to practice Krishna consciousness, right? So therefore, Arjun, again, excellent reason why we should not fight this war, because the elders will go. Now you might think myself, okay, these are such good reasons. Okay, how will Krishna come back to this? How will Krishna actually, counteract Arjun's reasons? We'll look at that later. Maybe next session, I'm sure Sanket and Priya Prabhu will look at that. But anyway, let's carry on. So breakdown of family traditions. And actually, I just want to show you this. In the olden days, the culture was like this. This is basic, very basic, but you had seniors and you had juniors. Okay. Right now, most of you are junior. I guess in your group, Rancho Krishna Prabhu would be your senior, and Vasant Prabhu is your senior, and all of you are young juniors. So the junior, now you can see there's two arrows here, one from junior to senior, the left-hand arrow. So the junior, they should respect the senior. They should serve the senior. Look at these four. Actually, let's get you to read these actually. So can I pick someone to read these? Yeah, okay. Radhika, I haven't heard from you yet. Radhika, can you read these 5 words from junior to senior?
Obedience, humility, honesty, respect, and service.
Very good. These are the things that a junior gives to the senior. Obedience, humility, honesty, respect, and service. Even if you don't want to, you should, Do you know what happens when you don't want to? Is because your ego gets in the way. Why should I do this? Why should I do that? But actually, this helps to purify your ego. It helps to get rid of the ego. Then you become more humble, right? Right? You become more humble. That helps you to connect with Krishna more and the seniors. Right? Now let's look at the other side. We have okay, now let's have some more people, someone else who can read these words. So let's pick again some people who have not spoken yet. Let's see who'd like. Okay, Veda Varshini, would you like to read these words, please? These are what seniors have to give to juniors.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Haribo. Yeah.
Guidance, advice, inspiration, shelter, support, good example, spiritual advancement, well-wisher.
Very good. Yeah. So basically in society, the juniors have got their, just like we have Brahmana Dharma, Kshatriya Dharma, Vaishya Dharma, Sudra Dharma, right? We have Dharma for brahmacharis, grihastas, vanaprasthas, sannyasis. Everyone's got the Dharma. Similarly, there's Dharma for husband towards wife and wife towards husband. There is Dharma for son and daughter to their parents. And similarly, there is Dharma from juniors to seniors, obedience, humility, honesty, respect, service. And from seniors to junior, the Dharma is to give guidance, advice, inspire them, give them shelter, give them support, set the right example for them, help them in the spiritual advancement, and give them good wishes so that they can succeed in life, spiritually and materially. Okay? Hope all that makes sense. If this model, this last point I want to mention here, if this model is not there in society, there will be chaos. Okay? There will be chaos. And the final one that was mentioned by Arjun, right, in these 3 verses, was that if the people get killed, then the women are left unprotected. So again, in Krishna consciousness, women are there to be protected and respected and looked after, right? The mother, there are 9 types of gurus in the Bhagavatam. It says 9 types of gurus. The first is the mother. When you are born, who's the first person that you're looking at? It's your mother. That's why in Krishna consciousness, we often call the ladies in movement in our society, we call them Mataji, mothers. Even if they're not like physically a mother yet, but still they have got that motherly role in society. They nurture you, they protect you, they look after you. And if they're left unprotected, then what happens? They mentally become unhappy. Then when they have children, those children will also be very unhappy and not of good consciousness. Yeah. So then what happens is when you have mothers who are not being treated nicely, they give birth to unwanted children who are not of good consciousness. And then you can see from this picture, unwanted population leads to wars and conflicts and chaos. Right now, you see in the world, there's so much conflict. I mean, you're all in Kuwait. You're in the middle of the Middle East. I'm sure there's lots of stuff going on there, as we all know. Everywhere in the world, whether it's Europe, Africa, Asia, Middle East, America, everywhere, there's conflict. Conflict of the mind, conflict of the families, conflict between nations. There's conflict in the environment. Yeah, the earth is getting destroyed. Last week we had a session where they did a film on at our School of Bhakti on stolen rivers, which is a documentary on the Yamuna River and how it's gone. It's practically gone because of greed, because of just bad actions, because of this low consciousness in human beings, because of all this breakdown of family traditions, breakdown of culture, of traditions, all these things. Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm almost finishing. I'm conscious of the time. All great points. I'm sure you agree. All great points. Yeah. And so and Arjun will give a few more next week. You'll find out There's a few more things Arjun's going to mention, and they're all very good points, as we've discussed, yeah? So now I'm going to go into the next question here, but before I do, I just want to pause here and ask, is there any questions from anyone? Everyone's okay? Any question? Okay, fine. I'll carry on then. So, all great points. Now the question is, all this, we've talked so much today about Dharma, about rules, about regulations, about why we should fight, why we should not fight, family traditions, culture. Now the question I'm going to ask you is this. What is the aim of all this culture, these rules, these dharma, these varnas, these ashramas, all these things we've talked about, Kshatriya dharma, family traditions, seniors, juniors, their duties, women, duty towards women, all of these things, what is the main aim behind all of this culture and tradition? Okay, Anand Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. The aim of all these all these rules is that that all of us can go back to Godhead, not just like family or individually, but the whole society. If they work like in these rules, following the Varnashrama Dharma, all of us can go back to Godhead.
Okay, very good point. So Anand Prabhu is saying that the whole point of all this Varnashram and this kind of like protecting the family traditions and making sure that senior, junior etiquette is maintained and women are protected is so that we can go back to Krishna, back to Godhead by protecting our people and making sure that they spiritually practice in a peaceful way. Yeah, that's basically what you're saying there. Is there anything else that I saw another hand go up somewhere? Let me just have a look. No, okay, fine. Okay, very good. Very good answer there. So actually, no, before I do that, I want to say one thing. Krishna says, Arjun is giving all these different religious principles to Krishna. Interesting, check this out, right? This is very interesting. There are people in this world who are not Krishna conscious, who are not focused on wanting to go back to Krishna, but they still follow Dharma, right? It's not just these dharmas just for Krishna consciousness. We're devotees, right? We're chanting Krishna's names. We're doing a Mahamantra. We're, practicing Krishna consciousness. We have an aim, go back to Godhead, back to Godhead, back to Godhead, right? But there are people in this world who are living their life, who practice their dharma, their duties, protecting women, protecting their family traditions, but not because they want to connect back with Krishna. They want to simply live a life, a good life, a prosperous life, but not necessarily go back to Krishna. Yes, Anand, you're going to ask something there. Yeah. Ask.
No, Prabhuji, I just wanted to answer that question. I thought that was the question. I just wanted to answer that. What is there next? Like people who are not, they don't have that, they don't want to go back to Godhead, but then still they follow the Dharma. So I thought that's a question. So
Very good question. So in Varnashram, you see, there are many people in this world that will not take to Krishna, right? Obviously, look, our duty is to try to give Krishna to others, right? But like, it's not that every single person we speak to about Krishna consciousness is going to say, yes, Jay, give me the books. I'll do it right now. Some may, which is good. Maybe some of your parents did that. That's why you're here practicing Krishna consciousness. But a lot of people won't. A lot of people won't, because the Atma, the living, we are souls, we are Atmas. And some of us who come to the material world, they come here because we wanted to be separate from Krishna. We want to enjoy this world separately from Krishna. But Krishna is so kind. He's so kind that, do you know what he does? He says, I know you want to be separate from me. Anand, You decide to come in the material world, Anand, right? Sorry to make you feel bad, but you decided to come here to the material world to live separately from Krishna. But Krishna is so kind. Krishna says, you know what, Anand? Even though you did, I'll still give some dharma, some varnashrams you can live here safely without getting too much bad karma. You want prosperity? You want to live long, good life with good friends in this material world? I'll give you the instructions by which you can do it. So there is varnashram, which people follow to lead a good material life. But that's not the main aim of varnashram. Main aim is to go back to Krishna. Okay? It's almost like, let's say I give you a car, and the main purpose in me giving you this car is so you can drive from Kuwait to India. But you may get that car and decide, you know what, I love this car. Let me just drive this car around in Kuwait. And I'm not going to go to India. I'll just stay here in Kuwait, driving in the desert. Well, I think Kuwait's a desert, right? Anyway, right? Like that. So this is what most people do with varnashram. This is what most people do with culture and tradition. They follow culture, they follow tradition just for the fun of it, but not necessarily connecting back with Krishna. Right? So therefore, Krishna says to Arjun later on in the Gita, and I'm not going to go into this, this is another verse, I'm sure you'll do this many sessions later. Krishna says, Sarva dharmam parityaja mamekam sharanam braja, aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishmami masuchaha, right? Abandon all your types of dharma and just come to me. Yes, I created this dharma for you. I was the one that made the varnashram. I was the one that created these family traditions, Arjun, that you're trying to tell me now why you shouldn't fight. I was the one that gave it to you. But I'm telling you right now, if you're just going to follow these family traditions, if you're just going to follow these dharma, just to be in the material world for enjoyment, then you're missing the point. The whole point of the family traditions, the whole point of actually doing this varnashram and having like protecting your women is so that you can help them connect back to me. If you're not doing that, let it go. Let it go and just focus on me. Is there any questions here so far? Is everyone clear? Vivan Prabhu, are you clear? Are you okay? Sorry, I'm just picking on Vivan. Tanushree, Vaishnavi, Ashim, Jayashri, Aditya, Proga, all of you. Yep. Nakul is saying, okay, he understands. Okay. So in other words, Arjun has given reasons, breakdown of family traditions, unprotection of women, sinful reactions, lack of compassion, all these things. These are the things that Krishna himself has given to all of us. But Krishna is saying, Arjun, and you will tell, obviously you'll go into more detail later, but Krishna is saying that all of these things, if you are just doing it, just for the sake of doing it, but not to connect with me, what's the point of you doing it? What traditions are you protecting if it's not helping to connect back to me? You'll find a lot of people, they'll go to mandir just blindly. They don't even bother to ask why they're coming to mandir. They're just doing it because their parents did it and their parents did it, their parents did it. But now you're practicing Krishna consciousness, you have to know, why am I doing this and how is it connecting me back to Krishna? Otherwise, Krishna is saying, let go of it. Okay, so the main focus is surrendering to Krishna. I'll just finish off here actually. Can you think of any examples from the Mahabharata of times when actually Krishna himself broke rules of Dharma? Actually, let me just stop sharing for a minute. Let me just talk to you all. Can anyone think of any examples where Krishna himself broke the rules that he created? Okay, very good. So there's some hands going up. Let's start with Tanushree. We'll go with Tanushree first, and then we'll go with the others. Yeah, Tanushree, over to you.
Yes, Prabhuji. I wanted to tell that Krishna broke the rules when he wanted to kill Dronacharya. He told Yudhishthira to tell a lie to Dronacharya that Ashwatthama was killed.
Yes, Ashatriya hata iti gaja, right?
Yes.
Along, yeah, yes, very good, very good. Okay, Krishna himself got Yudhishthira to break a rule there. Okay, let's go with Jayashree or Ashim, whoever.
Prabhuji, I got a hint from your picture that Krishna, they said that Krishna cannot take any weapon during the war, but he took weapon and he killed, and he tried to kill.
Very good. Yes. He made a promise to Arjun that I will be on your side to be your charioteer, but I will not take part in the fighting. But then when he saw the fight between Bhishma and Arjun, he got so angry because Bhishma Dev was really powerful and is, really like hurting Arjun. He actually was going to break his own promise there. Very good point. Dimple.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Krishna also gave his rules when Arjun was determined to kill Krishna, kill Karna. So that time when Karna was lifting the chariot wheel, that time Krishna ordered Arjuna to kill Karna. And the rule which was made was that the one who is not armed you should not aim that person.
Perfect. Brilliant example. Yes. When Karna was fighting Arjun, and then Karna's chariot got stuck in the mud, and then Karna came off to take the wheel out of the mud. And then Krishna tells Arjun, shoot him in the head. And Karna's like, what are you doing? What kind of dharma is this? How can you fight an unarmed warrior? Very good, Dimple. And actually, Krishna even chastised Karna. Hey, Karna, how can you talk about dharma? Where was your dharma when Draupadi was getting disrobed in the gambling match? Where was your dharma? You were the one that even said, bring that Panch Patni lady into the courtyard to get disrobed. Where was your dharma then? Where was your dharma when the Pandavas were almost going to get burnt in the house of Lak? Where was your dharma when all the warriors, including you, went round Abhimanyu and together started attacking him? Where's your dharma then? Now you want to talk about dharma? What kind of dharma do you have? Krishna really went into him then. Very good point. And I'll finish off with last point. Kshitij Prabhu. Yeah, Kshitij.
Prabhuji, I had the same reason that Aditya told.
Fine, no problem. So the point we're trying to make is this. Yes, Krishna creates dharma. Yes, Krishna creates family traditions. Yes, Krishna is the one that teaches us to protect women. All the things that Arjun said. But if by following these things blindly, you lose your connection to Krishna, then Krishna will break those dharma so that to help you get closer to him. In all these situations in the Mahabharata, when Krishna broke the dharma, it's only to help them come closer. Whatever traditions you follow in your life, what your parents pass on to you, whatever culture you follow, all these things, the main thing is it has to be connected with Krishna. Krishna is the main thing, and then others. Now, let me make it clear. This doesn't mean that we don't follow dharma, we don't follow tradition. We do. But we have to make sure, how is it connecting with Krishna? Otherwise, you know what's going to happen? It's going to become blind faith. You're all intelligent children. Think about how you're practicing your Krishna consciousness, even from now. Prabhupada said you should question, right? When your gurus in Kanaya Desh, when they teach you stuff, Prabhupada said, I want my devotees to be thoughtful. I want them to question. I want them to be independently thoughtful. Think and ask questions. Let's say, I don't know who your teachers are, Rancho Prabhu maybe, or Vasant Prabhu. When they teach you your lessons, you can ask them, Prabhuji, why is this like this? Why do we do this? Why do we do arti? Why do we wave the flame around the deities? Otherwise, you know what's going to happen? You're going to get older and you won't know why you're doing it. And then you think, why am I practicing Krishna consciousness? So that's why it's whatever reasons Arjun gave to Krishna were very good reasons. But the key thing was if it was not connected to Krishna, that's the main thing. So therefore, obviously Krishna will give more reasons as the session progresses. But this is a very important thing to understand. I'm just gonna finish off by, can anyone see the slides, by the way? Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna finish off by, if I can just, yeah, I just wanna say one thing here. We talked about Varnashram, we talked about Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras. But the key thing, if you see in the center of this diagram, you have Krishna there. We can talk about the Dharma, but the Dharma has to be focused on Krishna. That means we have to be transcendental. It doesn't matter whether you're Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, and whatever Dharma you have. Are you doing Vaishnava Seva? Are you chanting the holy names? Are you devoting yourself to Krishna and sharing Krishna with others? Otherwise, what is the purpose behind your Dharma? What's the purpose behind your culture? Yeah. So I'll just finish off this last verse here. Actually, maybe I can ask someone, would they like to read the Sanskrit to this verse? Anyone? Can you see it? Yeah, okay. So let's go with Anand. Please recite the Sanskrit. This is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
Smartavya satatam Vishnur Vismartavyo Nachatuchet Sarve Vidi Nishedhasyur Etayor Eva Kinkara.
Fantastic, very good. And then can we have maybe Pradiksha? Could you read the English, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. One should always remember Krishna and should never forget them. All injunctions and prohibitions are based upon these two principles. Very good. Excellent. Thank you so much. Great session. I enjoyed it and I loved your participation. So just to clarify, at the end of three verses, Arjun says, what is the benefit of fighting this war when we're going to get all these bad reactions? Number two, what is the purpose of fighting this war if in the process family traditions get destroyed and the elders get destroyed? And number three, what's the purpose of fighting this war if the women are left unprotected? And four, if the women are left unprotected, then what will happen to the future children? Very good reasons. But what we have to understand here is all these reasons are good, but the missing thing was that none of them were connected to Krishna. If you fight for Krishna, then everything can be worth it. If you do the things for Krishna, then it can be worth it. So Arjun's giving these reasons, but they were not yet connected to Krishna. He was giving them as just normal, general, material things, but they have to be connected to Krishna for them to have real value. That's why Krishna will then teach Arjun that all these reasons you're giving are good, but first you have to bring me into your life. So here's the thing, you're living your life now, you're working hard, you're studying. Hands up, who goes to school here? Do you all study at school? Yeah? Okay, good. Krishna is not saying that you don't study hard and get good results, good grades. Some of you may want to grow up and become artists or doctors or lawyers or accountants or businessmen or just try, just do some, amazing stuff, right? But the point is that whatever you're doing, you want to become rich and successful, go for it. There's nothing to stop you. Krishna is not saying you don't do that, but connect it to Krishna. Whatever good work you do in life, how do you connect it to Krishna? If you become rich and successful, use your wealth to help in giving Krishna to others. If you have become a talented singer or a talented speaker, use that talent to share Krishna with others. Some of you might become amazing actors or actresses. Fine, act for Krishna. So what Arjun was doing was great, but it wasn't connected with Krishna. Anyway, but Arjun's obviously a pure devotee who's playing a role. So it's a lila. He obviously is fully devoted to Krishna, but obviously he was being bewildered because Krishna arranged for that. Anyway, there'll be more reasons that Arjun's going to give next week as to why he shouldn't fight. And then my favorite chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, is going to come. And then Krishna is going to, you know what he's going to do? Every reason Arjun gives for not fighting, Krishna is going to break each one down one by one and give an even better reason why he should fight. So lots to look forward to. I'll finish here. Thank you so much for being so patient and participating. Yeah, and hope to see you all very soon. And maybe I'll hand over for any last questions, comments from anyone.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, from bottom of our hearts. Very engaging, very instructive, and very participative. I'm sure, and we can see that children thoroughly liked, enjoyed, and participated so well. So here are teachers of Kanaya Desh also attending, and they're also getting immensely benefited by actually learning from you how to keep children engaged and interact with them, and of course presented very well, Prabhuji. So we are very grateful, and if there are any further questions amongst children, we can take one or two, otherwise we are going to end the session. I think this has been so interactive, and within the session there was so much interaction. So all the questions have been answered, and in fact you inspired so much children to participate. Thank you, Prabhuji, and we are very much looking forward to have your more and more association. And we'd like to thank Prabhuji by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. And I just want to say, yeah, you guys are an amazing group. The children are I can tell they're very sharp, very educated, and they're very intelligent. And I think you're obviously, evidently, you're doing a very good job teaching the children here their understanding of Krishna consciousness. The questions that they asked and the comments that they gave have been really nice. Very inspiring to see Krishna consciousness nicely developing in different parts of the world. And yeah, 100%. I hope to see you all soon, and I hope that we can keep our School of Bhakti and Kanaya Desh relationship going well long into the future.
Very grateful for all the support you have been providing, Prabhuji, from School of Bhakti, all of you, and His Grace Uttava Prabhu. Thank you very much, and looking forward, Prabhuji.